We have 2 new people joining us on the desk. Again, swapping out nice and quickly. We've got Beaulo, we've got Laxing, 2 gentlemen that really need absolutely no introduction whatsoever. I'm going to ask, Beaulo.
What up?
You've just finished your game. You exhausted?
I'm hot.
Yeah?
I'm hot. It's real hot out here.
When
we came in to set up the SSD, it was kind of cold, and I misjudged it.
Yeah.
So I'm layered up. But it's all good. You're not really playing a match unless you're sweating, right?
That's true. That's very true.
Just forcing it out of me.
And like he said, sometimes it's cold when you get in.
Yeah.
But it's hot when it starts.
It got a little bit hot and heated, didn't it? It was a little bit more uncomfortable than expected. Or
we'll be fine.
Well, to be fair, you got the double layer on.
That's what I'm saying.
And you got
I got the mocks.
Talking about the game, I'm not even talking about how hot you are. Okay, now we're going down a different path. How did you find the game? Did you expect it to be so difficult? Did you expect to go to a third map?
I mean, you never want to expect to go to a third map, right? We won all the points, but I think it went according to plan. Consulate was a little bit of a wrench, we thought we were better prepared for that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, right? But we came out on top on Nighthaven. That's all that matters. We knew we would have a pretty good matchup on Nighthaven, even if it were to go to the third map. We knew it was going to kind of end the way it did. So,
now this is going to be a 2-part question. 1, who do you think is the most dangerous team at the moment? I think we all know. But then the second question is going to be, who do you think is going to be the most complicated to play? So I'm going to let you answer first.
Who's the most angriest team?
No. Who's, in your opinion, who's the best team coming into SI?
Well, the obvious answer is to say W7F.
It is.
They've won Copenhagen.
Yep.
They've done really well in their region. They just won the Atlanta Major. They're a fan favorite coming into here, and they also have a storyline with their org. This being their last run, so it kind of creates that storyline of like a last dance sort of situation. But I do want to change that because that's the obvious answer. I do want to give a different answer. I want to say Liquid.
Yeah,
I think Liquid has underperformed, but I do believe that they have what it takes to really show their true form and what they've done throughout the many years that they've played as a team and throughout the history of Liquid, that they've always been a top 4 team and have always came so close to closing it out. So for me, I'm gonna say Liquid.
Beaulo.
Sheesh.
Who are you expecting to be the hardest team to verse?
I'm sorry, I know we're NA.
Sheesh. I mean, I don't know. It's honestly, I'm just going by groups here, right? It's like you gotta get out of groups, right?
Yep.
So I'm looking at G2 right now. That's the first real big hurdle. Previous world champs, right? Current, I guess, world champs, right? So that's gonna probably be the most dominant team at the moment. And then everything beyond that is, it doesn't really matter. We'll just, we cross that bridge when we get there, and then we play our game, and we should win.
Now, I've got a very interesting question here that's been asked multiple times in the Twitch chat. When does Beaulo play?
I knew this was gonna be a question.
I bet y'all thought you were done with that, huh? Today, right? Today, I thought it was a pretty good, a little bit rusty in the beginning. There's nothing that prepares you for getting back in the lobby. Honestly, it's like we've been scrimming for a couple months. I've been back at it for a little bit, and nothing beats just loading up in the server. Lights are on, and it gets crazy. So,
can I ask a question?
Of course you can. Jump in.
So, with you, obviously a ton of Invite, being former world champion as well. When you get to Invite, and just to tell the audience and stuff like that, is it super intense the second you land? It's on. The second you land, wherever the designated area is, it's just on. Everything just feels way more intense because that's how it's always felt for me. And it's weird being here now, being this the first Invite that I'm attending now as talent and being on that other side. But from a player perspective, it's always been so intense for me.
Yeah, I think the travel part of the actual event is the huge thing because I feel like for me that's when the zone kind of happened. It's all right, everything's led up to this moment. The plane ride, the hotel, getting everything set up, starting to do the international scrims. It's game time from there. So it's always the snap.
Yeah,
it's always the
definitely.
Snap.
Now, of course, probably the most anticipated question, something that I'm sure you're very much prepared for. How long are you staying for?
Hey, you never know. You never know. See, if I were to just tell you my intentions, then it'd just be boring, right? Nobody would ever ask again.
Then they wouldn't have a reason to ask when's Beaulo playing.
You wouldn't ask me to come back on here on this little podium and talk some more, right?
Well,
I think we will.
How is it coming back to Invite specifically?
Back to Invite? It's interesting because this is the last, or SI 2022 was the last international. I guess we went to Yonkop, see, I'm a little hazy here.
Yeah. Don't even ask me any questions. I forgot half my career already.
It feels good, but everything in the past is in the past, right? It doesn't matter. It's only ahead of you and the opponent in front of you. So feels good.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful and I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, one of the other questions that we've got here from Twitch chat, what operator is giving you the most grief at the moment?
Grief.
Yeah. I know.
Man, an operator just pisses me off. I don't know.
It gets under your skin, Beaulo.
I guess Hasham on Brava 3X DMR. That was kind of annoying. I don't
Are you getting
know.
sniped?
I've actually never played. No, it was some. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Ridiculous in the past. I never really played comp with Fenrir up, so it's a new, Fenrir. Yeah. So it's new. Grim. The Grim changes now. That's a little bit interesting. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Not the best answer, but I'm learning still. I'm learning the new changes.
So we asked before, what's your favorite food here? Have you tried enough food to let us know what your favorite local cuisine is?
Bolo.
Yeah?
It's cake.
Interesting.
Bolo cake.
Squishy?
Fluffy?
I had a little bit of variety.
What's it taste like?
No, good stuff. It's just cake. Bolo is cake.
What flavor cake is it?
I
You
think
gotta
that's
let the
chocolate-
audience digest
chocolate
it a
ice.
little more.
What else? There's some. They love the coconut over here.
Yeah, I saw that. I did
I'm
see
not
a
too
few
much of a
things with
fan of coconut, but-
Okay. So you don't like a good almond joy?
No.
I can get down on an almond joy.
You got any questions for Beaulo?
I mean, how do you manage to look as good as you do and
Okay.
play as good as you do? I think that's a
as
very serious question for the audience.
I think we're picking the wrong Twitch chat questions. I know there's some interesting comments in there. I mean, I'm just doing what I do.
All right. This is more a serious question that I think a lot of people are wondering. What's it like playing on DZ versus TSM?
Ooh, great question.
That was enthusiastic.
It's a little different. It's a little different, believe it or not. DZ is a lot more structured, more strategy based, and you got Troy Canadian, right? So compared to TSM, which a lot of people would probably hail as like the more aggressive, NA team.
I mean,
back in the day, it's kind of like to put in perspective for the newcomers. It's like kind of like M80 in a sense, but
yeah. I mean, that's how
we've been putting up the numbers.
That's how I always viewed you guys, was that you guys were the more aggressive team, like the two staples of like NA in terms of like that same play style that DZ had. Was always DZ and SSG. Like they were very structured, very to the core of their strat, whereas like you guys were not to say you weren't structured, but like you guys had a purpose of like getting in the face, taking the gunfights.
Yeah, it was more about right now in DZ it's more about getting like the round win rather than getting up in their face and like getting the kill in TSM, which
for sure
sometimes would result in a round win, sometimes it wouldn't. So
well, this is a personal question for me too. Outside of that was more for the audience. What's like the practice regime looking like? Because obviously from an outside perspective, and I've heard a lot about DZ's practice regiments and how they get ran, that they can either be super intense or they can be super intense. So like, what does that look like?
It's different than the TSM one. It's not the retired life. That's for damn sure. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, I knew going into this I would have to sacrifice, a lot of time and a lot of effort for, this event, but I think it's worth it. It's definitely a little bit more ramped up than my previous TSM team back in the day, but it's nothing that we all can't handle because we're all here for one purpose, right?
For sure.
Yeah, things have probably changed a little bit since you last competed at this level. One of the questions that I actually find quite intriguing. TDM meta. What do you think of the meta at the moment?
I don't think it's a thing right now.
Nah.
No, I think that's a ranked issue.
Yeah.
Rank 2.0. I mean, I think the meta right now is, I actually really enjoy it. Coming back, it's really fun. Even before I left, like I enjoyed the meta a lot back then. And I didn't think it was TDM because that was still kind of the concept back then was ranked like a ranked TDM meta, and I didn't really feel like, I feel like you can play into the utility, you can play into the strategy, but in the event that you need to get up in their faces, you see a gap, you see a dent in the armor, then you have to you capitalize, and at the end of the day you have to eliminate the enemy team, right? It's a gunfight at the end of the day.
It's pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah, even if you have a shield and 3 warm eyes, you got to hit that shot.
Straight to the point.
Actually, there's a question in here about shields. The first part of the question is, what's it like playing with Troy? The second part of the question is, what would he say about your behind the shield plays, aka Beaulo plays?
I mean, I think he likes it, right? Like that's the whole like lore behind that question, is like Troy on a podcast was talking about me on a shield, because that was kind of like my my forte back in TSM, and I mean, whenever there's a shield setup, Chalet top mez, Soda on consulate, I'm probably behind it, right? And I mean, I love shields, right? Who doesn't love sitting behind a bulletproof window? Love that, but it's really fun with Troy. It's really awesome, and I mean, I sure do love me some shields.
Is it Beaulo proof?
Sheesh, that's a new one.
Hey.
That's a new one.
Beaulo proof. Well, unfortunately, this segment is now Beaulo proof. We are done and dusted.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank God.
kidding. I'm
that's where the
kidding.
enthusiasm
I'm
went.
kidding.
Final
It's
comments.
really hot in here, by the way. It's really hot.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't
Yeah,
tell,
he's shining.
I'm dying. I'm dying. But final comments before we leave.
Final comments. I'm back. I hope you guys enjoyed the first matches. I'm looking forward to the rest of the group stages. Hopefully you guys are as well. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for, just supporting. And hopefully you're supporting the new team, DZ, to the top.